Hey guys, we'll get started in just a minute. AR, why don't you try talking for a moment?
Okay, I'm talking. Just get through this episode.
Okay, that looks good. Dev, why don't you try talking?
I have officially been canonized as the patron saint of sleep deprivations. I'm so tired.
I think we all
So
are.
tired.
Okay, let's see.
Did you flip it over?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I'm still
it
getting
it
the.
it took longer to flip over because you guys were talking and I didn't want to flip over in the middle of a sentence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm never quite 100% sure just how far behind that is, because in my little preview window, it should have flipped over a bit ago. Is yours
Yeah.
still showing the old one?
No, we're good now.
Okay. Okay. Audio looks fine. You guys both ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Dev, did the cat kill you?
Not the cat this time.
Okay, Dev's still alive, so we'll go ahead and get started before that changes.
For a certain definition of alive.
Welcome to the podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, a run with the will.
I'm AR Pulver, and today I bought my 4-year-old a Waluigi plushie.
I'm DevQ and I make funny noises.
We all make funny noises. It's been a week. With the amount of stuff we have to talk about, almost feels like the old junk episodes where it just things piled up considering it's only been a week. Let's go with
I
that.
just didn't. I just didn't pay attention to half of it. That's my secret.
Same.
So what you're saying is you both actually failed the one time DigiNavi was actually relevant and interesting.
Oh, was it?
Yes, it actually was a fun watch. Shockingly.
Cool. We'll get it. Cool. I didn't watch it. We'll get into that.
Yeah. And first up, episode 29, Escape the Burning Jungle of Digimon Adventure. And we get to see AR's slow descent into becoming Robert Burnett.
It's less interesting than the DigiNavi, apparently.
Slow descent.
Taichi going back to his usual strategy of beating a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
I have to be honest, I didn't dislike it.
That was a cool moment.
It kind of has carried on the theme of, I don't dislike it, but it hasn't really fixed any problems. It's just entertaining enough, but it's not really good.
Yeah, it was entertaining for complete and utter filler.
This isn't filler, this is important. They're in a forest.
Its importance is single-handedly dependent on whether Lapmon is relevant to the future stories. That's it. Other than that, this is entirely skippable.
It's important because Joe is surrounded by Nanimon.
Sora showed up. That makes it important as much as that's sad to say.
That's that the fact that that's all is really sad, especially considering the cliffhanger last time. Like, Taichi is separated from his sister and spends the entire time saving woodland animals.
Hey, they're woodland animals voiced by Volcano Oda.
There's still woodland animals.
Are you saying you would not Are you saying you would not save woodland animals saved by Volcano Oda?
No.
For shame, yeah.
So basically, you're the person that votes during AGDQ to kill the animals, aren't you?
No joke, my favorite part of the episode was when Budmon died.
I'm
not joking. I'm not joking. Like, the fact that they actually went there, it's like they're not going to kill any of these babies. Oh, they killed one of the babies.
I liked when the second one was like staring him down.
I approve of dead babies.
You know what the weird thing is there, minus that stare down stuff, there isn't actually much happening in this episode, which is odd. Odd. It's especially odd for one reason. It almost feels like we got to see the little cutaway characterizations we want, just not long enough.
Yeah. Like, the cutaway characterizations again are more entertaining than what Taichi's doing.
And I would like to point out,
Joe's just surrounded.
Ian, I cannot do that because those are all on the same layer. So I cannot revoke Ian's Santa hat that I'm not even sure they noticed are there.
Why did you put the Santa hats on the same layer?
Because they're just it's just one clear layer above everything, so I could turn it on partway through the episode. See, look, on, off, on, off.
We were just having a conversation about the lag time between that. I'm not.
Yeah, and that's why it's amusing for me to say that, because at some point in the next 10 minutes it will pop up for you. But yes,
started to do it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw it.
Yes,
briefly.
But yeah, those are all on the same layer. I cannot remove his Santa hat alone. But yeah, the little stuff with the kids was interesting, but we need more of that. We need like 10 episodes of that at this point.
I like the fact that they're showing, giving him a little bit of moral support. Yamato saying was like, I've been through that. Like sibling disappearance. Like, I know what you're doing. We'll get through it. We'll get past it. Takeru looking like a little bit freaked out that Hikari's missing.
No,
I like that stuff.
No, Takeru was concerned because he only has like 2 frames of animation in the episode.
It's something.
Adamant is like the same completely stoned frame of animation the entire episode.
Takeru is emoting, and that's more than we can say about Hikari, so we'll take it.
Hey, we saw her emote in the 5 seconds of footage from the last episode. But yeah, and I will say, you can tell. I'm trying to think of the way to word this. You can tell how focused Digimon fans get on random things when no one will shut the fuck up about the fucking arm chomp.
No.
Do you know how many people have decided that's the thing they want to talk about nonstop?
Not the fact that Metal Greymon's power levels differ every episode. Last episode, he was
here's
barely straight, like he could not beat Volkdramon one-on-one, and today he's whipping out like he's destroying 2 perfects at a time.
The chomp was in the preview, so it's been going for over a week at this point.
I'm glad I'm not on the same channels that you're on. I'm glad I feel just don't pay attention to this noise.
Nom 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 nom.
And it's weird. There just isn't a lot in this episode to talk about, it feels like.
I managed to cover most of my...
Sora being heroic and zooming in was nice.
It was. I love that Sora got the big damn hero moment. I hate that it's bailing Taichi out yet again, proving that Taichi can't actually win his own fights when they matter. He has a really bad track record of winning on his own. Like, he does need these miracle assistants.
See, you should be happy that happens. Do you know why? Because if that didn't happen, it literally just would have been exactly what happened, just without Sora popping in.
That's the sad part.
They would have just thrown in a 30-second clip of a transformation to Alteros mode.
Yeah, well, he already had Alteros mode, didn't he? Oh, no, it showed up after. Yeah, he showed up after.
It just pops in. They would have literally just spent that 30 seconds doing that.
It's one of those where there's really no way to end this cleanly.
Yes.
Like, either he finds a way on his own merits that don't really feel honest, or something has to bail him out again. Taichi's just an awful protagonist character. That's just what it comes down to.
Still better than Masaru.
I disagree. And a lot of people on Tumblr apparently agree with me when I put that out. Like, I've given up on comparing him to Masaru and Taiki and Kaguru. I'm now comparing him to like Mameo and Akira from the Digimon World games.
Here's the problem with that. Tumblr has always been Saver City. That's where the Savers fans live.
Oh,
I blame Splash for that.
It's not Savers specific. It's just the fact that I'm putting him at the bottom of the rankings of every Digimon protagonist. Masaru is somewhere in the top 10. Taichi from the reboot is at number 27. I put Ryo from the Wonder Swan games above Taichi in the reboot.
You have not played the Wonder Swan games.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Still better.
Nah. See, and now you've cursed us all to have to deal with Ryo when he shows up. You caused this, AR.
I'm oddly fine with that.
I mean, I'm just because I'm putting Rio from the WonderSwan games above like this would be reboot Rio, and he'll probably suck too.
No,
So.
see, here's the problem. If he shows up, then people are gonna go, is it really reboot, or is it him returning from the Tamers universe and he just went to the wrong place? I guarantee you that will be the first thing someone will say.
He's on
which
vacation.
Which is why I'm ruining it by saying it first.
Oh, I don't think you're even first in saying
I doubt
that.
I am. I'm sure. I'm sure
a
that's
lot
come
of
up.
people have been like, man, what if Rio comes back and the whole thing is connected to the multiverse somehow and would just give you a headache?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's already connected because of the V-Tamer crossover
There you
special.
Go. There you go.
And that doesn't count. The only thing about the V-Tamers crossover that counts is we got to see Energy War Greymon first. Which
notice that like the first shot we get of War Greymon in the preview for the next episode is his ass.
I don't really care. That's one of those other things where, man, it just shows how much people get focused on stupid stuff. I mean, here's the thing.
What War Greymon's ass? Or?
No, just the nonstop commenting about it. If anything, it brings up exactly what came up in an interview with the guy who's in charge of Power Rangers right now that upset them. He said they make the show for 4-year-olders.
I mean,
and people got very upset by this.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
We are all talking. We're talking about children's programming here.
I know. I know that. You know that. A lot of people are very much unaware of that and will argue. And no doubt, now that we've said it, will try to argue with us about it. That
like the reason I've gotten into Digimon and have been in the business of reviewing Digimon is that I find Digimon to be marginally better than most children's programming. Not this show in particular, but most Digimon seasons. I find that there's something I'm latching onto.
10 years from now, old man Pulver is going to be upset when he hears people look back on the show fondly.
Oh, probably. I probably won't be around anymore, so like I'm probably
we'll have assassinated you.
No, I'll just be away from the fandom.
All three of us should be away from the fandom at that point.
After, yeah, right.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we were around 20 years ago, so.
Hey, I tried to give away the site at one point. The person declined. They said they were flaky and would probably leave. They've since left the fandom 3 or 4 different times.
I was gone for several years. I missed the start of Cross Wars completely.
I'm literally only talking
away from it.
I'm literally only talking a few years ago where I said to someone, "You can help with the news, and eventually I'll just leave and because you do stuff like this elsewhere for Digimon."
Yeah.
And the person went, "I'm too flaky for that. I lose attention." They've literally left the fandom 3 or 4 times in that period and come back each time.
You'd make a fine Dread Pirate Roberts.
I don't have a bandana, unfortunately.
You should get one.
Yeah, that's about.
You need to give somebody, when you pass on your title, you need to give somebody else the Conan hair from your avatar.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, it's weird. It's not a bad episode. It's just another example of it could have been good, but it's enjoyable enough as a thing to watch for half an hour.
Yeah, that's kind of the definition of a C for me. Like I compared this honestly to Atmon's Gatchmon Runs Away from Home episode because
How dare you? How dare you?
That episode is completely pointless and really, really stupid and formulaic and has everything wrong with it.
That episode's amazing.
There's a lot of fun stuff. It has a Cult Hunter J.
How dare you insult that episode? The one with him in the pumpkin outfit. How dare you, sir?
It's not the one. That's not the one with him in the pumpkin outfit. That's episode 4, which May would tell you is like the best episode of Atmon ever. But no, that's the episode with the Cult Hunter J.
Now that I think about it, he runs away a few times. Now that I think about it,
a Cult Hunter J is fantastic. And Occult Hunter J also has his own, I checked this, he has his own Wikimon article making him more relevant to the franchise than Terry Bradshaw.
See, I'm glad you brought that up because I had actually decided not to this week just out of not wanting to beat it to the ground. But now you've opened the door. for later.
I was just making a comment. If you decide to go through that door, that's on you. Choices matter here, Mark.
They do matter, but here's the thing. I have to respect that you brought up a topic. I would not be a good host if I did not.
Oh, you're of the yes and crowd, huh?
And Dev's just flicking her lip. So next time we have the Mega Digimon War Greymon, which moves us very nicely into that we got to see a bit of the evolution sequence. The imagery looks nice. I'm looking forward to seeing it all coherently in show because it's not going to look bad, but I would like to see every piece before I comment on it too much, to be honest.
I have a feeling this is the one they're going to put the budget in because it is the big War Greymon episode.
Yes.
Also, it's
you
amazing.
can also tell by the shading in the preview.
Yeah, this is not normal animation.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of amazing that we've wasted so much time between everyone getting their perfects to now that we can't even complain that it's too early for them to get their ultimates.
Yeah, what's funny is there actually has been a lot of complaining about that, and oddly, a lot of people pointing out it's not when you consider how many more characters are likely to get them this time. Because he's getting his in 30, correct? And last time they both got them in, was it 38?
Is 38 or 39, yeah.
Yeah. Is when you consider how many more characters there are that we hope will get them, and that they have to deal with Omegamon, and that's ignoring if there are any other evolutions, we're actually not that far off the pace you would expect.
It's not even the first one in franchise history. Masaru, Toma, and Yoshino all got theirs in episode 29.
Yeah, so but see, I would almost loophole that one because they sort of don't treat that as the real last one they use.
No, but
they spend a lot of time dealing with burst mode stuff.
Do we really think War Greymon's the last mode for Taichi?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We're all looking forward to Super Saiyan War Greymon.
Yeah, this isn't the end of Taichi's evolutions. Come on.
Yeah. And to promote that, they put up new music videos of both current insert songs, which I actually liked watching through these. Just nice. The footage was edited reasonably well. I always walk on if I like that when they have the actual show audio pop up during it, though. To be honest,
it's a little
one thing I noticed about that is that they didn't have the processing over the voice actresses for Agumon's voice.
Yeah, that's been pointed out a few times.
It's a little too much audio for me. Like I think they could have done a little less of it, but otherwise overall, it's a nice effect.
Yeah, and oddly, they made them nice and like they could have easily gone away with just 90-second versions of these and no one would have complained. These are the full songs. So it's nice. And then this is the one where we don't actually know what it is. A Digimon Adventure comic will be starting in Hong Kong magazine Lucky in January. We have no idea what this is. A few people have even tried to find out what it is, and minus that it's something. Someone even got in touch with Yu Wong to find out if it was him. It is not.
Damn.
So at the moment, we don't know because there's really three possibilities, I feel. It's a new manhwa of some sort. That feels like the most likely.
Yeah.
It could be some sort of unannounced manga that will be announced next month and just show up randomly, and this is just a translation of it. Possible, but not likely. And then the other big possibility is this will just be screen caps from the anime.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if it was that, but I would prefer something original, whether we're ever going to get it or not.
Panini's shocking comeback.
No, to be fair, Japan loves the animangas. They love those popping up. Digimon has gotten not that many of them, as I recall, but they pop up a lot. And then, hey, look, the theme continued for the Blu-ray and DVD box, which I'm glad. it felt like this was a fact that was going to happen, but you always wonder with bad choices. And am I wrong? Does Yamato's kind of look terrible and Sora's looks great?
The proportions, like the way his pose is, it just looks kind of like his head's too big for the rest of his body.
Yes. Meanwhile, Sora is we mock the long neck Sora, but this actually looks good, I think.
Yeah, they look fine.
Yeah.
And once again, you fall into that trap of you can't tell it's new art entirely, but
see, Sora, yes, absolutely. I have no doubt new art or anything. Yamato's actually could just be random art, and I would be completely unaware without checking. Sora's, I'm 100% sure I've not seen 2020 Sora like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yamato, I have no fucking clue. I admit that could be. Gabumon feels like. Does it feel like they took a capture of him, like about to evolve or something? So that pose is weird. I like it, but it feels like it got yanked out of the show, which isn't a bad thing, but feels off to me.
Like 2 frames before firing his attack, looks like.
Yeah. Oddly, they still will not say what the clean ending theme is, even though I don't. Is there anything it could be other than Q that, like, there were no variants? There's nothing I can think of.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah, Q. They just keep going. A clean ending theme. The booklet, they also won't say what it is, but I expect it would be interview, character stuff, the same as the first one. And that's out in March. Nothing for an umbrella this time. See, that's going to bite me when they actually do go ahead and announce it, I'm sure. And then, very rare we get to talk about Digimon next, isn't it? Like, when's
once
the last
a year, we get to bring it up once a year.
Yep. It's
I have Tsurugi from next on higher on my list of protagonists than Reboot Taichi.
It's the 15th anniversary of Digimon next.
There's the next comment besides the anniversary.
Yeah. Although we oddly do have card stuff with them from Booster Set 4, it feels like that stuff was very much next adjacent. The stuff that's shown up for those characters there.
Yeah, with like a Victory Greymon and
because like the cartoony Zgarumon feels like it could have been from the manga. Because there's a few times when Okano's drawn him sort of like the main key art that he's shown off of his Zgarumon. He's kind of like crunched up in SD. It kind of reminded me of that card art. So we'll see if anything pops up. But 15 years and
there you go. Digimon next. The manga that's it's fine.
Yeah. And then we have the Vital Bracelet, which this was the week where they decided to go nuts. So proper pre-orders went up and then were closed as the pre-order bonus sold out. They put up
which makes me sad.
Yeah, they put up a neat little promo video. They put Pulsemon in the reference book. The special version went up at Premium Bandai. And we got to see a lot of charts there. I actually liked the evolution charts. And man, Veemon's a great lineup, isn't it? Like, there's only one we don't see. Felt like people were very happy with the Veemon selection, minus that a lot of people seemed upset about Digitamamon. I think because it's not traditionally associated with Veemon, so a lot of people got upset about it. So we'll see what pops up in the
egg.
It does stand out.
May I offer you an egg in this trying time?
Yeah. But yeah, like here's the thing: if you
it is voiced by Derek Stephen Prince in the dub.
If you like,
there's your Veemon connection.
If you like Veemon, I feel bad that you're getting the ugly yellow watch. A lot of people really do not like that sports color. Like, I've seen multiple people talk about, well, we can probably paint it or something. Yeah. A lot
of people, looks like Mountain Dew.
To be fair, that is a very normal, like, sports crap color. But yeah, so that's then the special one. They closed temporarily pre-orders and then reopened it without the Black Roar dim.
Sadness.
To be fair, most people are sad on that based on what they believe. They call it Black Roar Trial version, and it only seems to have one evolution path in it, which would suggest they're just going to do a normal one a few months or a year from now. So, yeah. Mon Memo put up basic stuff about it. It felt like that so much got said elsewhere, they sort of just let it go. And then, because a poll closed, it was time for a new poll to open. Which way of interacting with the Vital Bracelet is your favorite? Pulse Link, Applog Link, or Touch Link? I'm pretty sure everyone's choosing Pulse. At least almost everyone I've seen who's doing the poll has been saying Pulse.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other... That's like the main reason I would get it, so...
Yeah. Yeah, why are you getting this Digimon V pet? I want to sync it with an app. Or I want to put my watch up against a soda machine and it will battle by itself. No, people want the V-Pet aspect.
I mean, who hasn't wanted to punch a soda machine at one point in their lives?
This isn't Appmon, AR. Although it really does feel like
it's getting really close.
Yeah.
But the aesthetics are there.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, there was a Fitbit Appmon, so
yeah. And then DigiNavi was Friday morning for me, very early. Always nice when they have the English subtitles for these. So they went over information for the bracelet. They had presentations, interviews. During the interview stuff, they actually nearly mentioned Appmon. They talked about how when they first started developing this, they had actually planned to not have any existing Digimon in it. And then they went, that's a bad idea when we have over 1,000 of them that are well liked.
Yeah. Which like we use Digimon print money.
Remember what happened last time we tried that?
Yeah, but like they specifically do reference that was the original plan, was that there was not going to be any old Digimon showing up in these.
Yeah, that would not be a good idea for this thing.
Yeah.
No.
Because here's the thing.
I feel like a mix of old and new tends to be the best.
Because if you do that at that point, it really is kind of a new franchise.
Yeah. But like, for example, what would the special version have been if, like, would that have just been, oh, we're not putting any old Digimon in it, but you can get Agumon if you buy from Premium Bandai?
Oh.
Like here's the thing. If there are no Digimon in it...
People would just get frustrated with that.
Yeah. But like, what would the Premium Bandai... Because they would have done one anyways. If there was nothing, what would you do outside of just having it be Agumon? Right. Include a case? Does a watch need a case? You know what I mean? I don't even know. There's so much stuff that they're doing that I don't see how this would have worked without Digimon in it.
Yeah.
So they went over, design concepts and ideas they had. They actually brought up that a lot of what inspired them was actually the Welcome to the Digimon World clip. That gave them ideas and inspirations of, the imagined world of this thing.
Which makes sense because a lot of people watched that and immediately thought, oh, we're going to get our equivalent of Digimon Go soon.
Yeah.
And it's strange that it made them think of, hey, maybe we should actually do something like that.
It's actually worth mentioning they began development before we ever saw that. They mentioned, I want to say, they said a year or two ago is when they began planning for this.
Yeah.
And we got that clip 9-10 months ago, I want to say. So I would say when that clip was being made, it might have focused them.
It feels way longer than that, but that's just 2020.
Yeah. But they actually did bring up a lot of interesting things. Like, they point out that if you recognize certain things on the new Digimon, that's on purpose. So, like, they showing CGI renders of some of Pulsemon's evolutions, and you can really see, like, someone here was looking at Lydramon when they designed this, 100%. Like, no doubt or anything. And they even, like, trace everything out and show you where, man, it looks like they just stuck Lydramon's helmet on him.
Reference art.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's great when they show off the stuff because it makes it, I don't want to say it makes it easier to connect to it. That's not quite right. It makes it easier to feel like it's coherent and coming into the franchise rather than taking it over.
It answers the question of what are they smoking.
Yes. We did get one small mention of the Vital Bracelet outside of Japan. There was one mention of interacting with others from around the world, but they also went out of their way to specifically go over, like, oh, you can battle people in Japan. So it's one of those where at some point it will have to be people looking over what was actually said. So, yeah. 2 can be stored on the bracelet, they confirmed. The app stores more for you. And then they actually, when they finished the Vital Bracelet section, they went back and they actually went, Digimon's popular overseas. We have some stuff to talk about for the overseas. They talked about how 30 to 40% of the audience of the show is from outside Japan. I don't know if they were referring to Adventure or their web streams and stuff. I think it was the streams. They actually began to joke that people outside of Japan actually may know their names. Iwai was talking about that. Like he even was like, people outside Japan may actually know who I am, which seemed like he was very amused by that. They had U.S. staff, show off V-Pets. He did mention the Vital Brace, but it wasn't. Basically, they know people want it, and they did not announce U.S. release. They're aware what people want, and they're looking at the brand in English outside of Japan, basically.
Probably like logistics and.
Yeah. They're not ready to announce something, but they're working on it.
Well, it gets more confusing when you consider, and AR might have seen this in the chat. We still don't actually know how the stupid thing communicates, even looking over what little documentation we have. NFC is mentioned a lot, but they stop mentioning NFC anytime they talk about the app. So
does assume it just like Bluetooth for the app.
Well, that's what you would assume, but they don't mention Bluetooth anywhere. They just stop mentioning NFC when they're talking about the app. They just talk about, you just have to get it close to it, which that could be NFC, but that could be low power Bluetooth. So good luck.
It's DigiGnomes.
Yes. Yeah, if you're ordering it, assume NFC for now, since that's worst case scenario, and it wouldn't shock me, but man, see, that could also be where the international one could be different, and even if it is NFC only, the international one could add low power Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, honestly, I still play a disgusting amount of Pokemon Go, so I have one of those like auto catcher bracelets, and that thing's tiny as hell, and that has a Bluetooth in it. So.
Yeah, my wife had one of those in the week they played Pokemon Go.
Yeah. They talked about the card game. We'll get into the card game later because we have a bunch of card game stuff. They actually had. I don't know if he's like. I know someone who speaks English was the creator of the game itself, so I don't know if this was him. Kyle Sarah, I assume it was just someone who was there and spoke English. There was no real reason for him to be there, and they got mock upset when they realized he actually speaks Japanese perfectly, and them struggling to speak English was unnecessary. Yeah. Then they talk about basically how wide the distribution for Adventure is outside of Japan. And, they showed all the different services it's on around the world. And they showed clips of every Digimon in the show that's named. I say named because they only showed the ones that got the little name tag.
Oh, okay. That confused me. Is like only 64?
Yeah, that's where
there's been a lot more than that.
Yeah, that's why I used every with a question mark. 64 didn't seem right, but I also didn't care enough to double check. So, yeah. Then there was they went over just a lot. They showed the model kits quickly, and they sort of went, yeah, there's going to be more of these. They showed off the plushies, the wafer treats, which I kind of still want to try. The Shoto figures, they went over apparel. They showed off new phone crap, which
I love the little
The
hug
pop
cots. The hug cots.
Yes, they're so cute.
Yeah,
I need all of them.
Yeah, those are cute too. Yeah.
Those will be. At first, I thought they said now, but it looks like it was March. 300 yen, and they're just connect the cable so you have something to grab. That's actually very neat, I think. This is one of the rare times when they actually have cases and shit for current phones. They're normally a year or two behind. So, although we've seen these designs before, haven't we? I feel like we have. So I think they modified existing ones.
I think so.
Because I remember the tile thing. So, yeah.
Zubin.
And then they showed Ancient Greymon and Ancient Gurumon coming to Rearise. It's not my favorite, but it's one of those parts that actually upset people when they saw it. Hey, look! Cybersleuth and Hacker's Memory Exist and is out. And then that was it, and they moved on from it.
That's your video game news.
Yeah.
There are no other games to talk about right now, so we're just going to bring up Cybersleuth and Hacker's Memory. You can still play that.
Yeah, they discussed various Blu-ray releases. Matsuzawa actually pointed out that she already bought these and spent a lot more than the box is going to cut, which was actually amusing. And Iwai just fucking loses it when she's not upset about it, but yeah, it's nice it's coming out. I spent more than double on all this. And he's I grabbed the screen cap, and the screen cap of he's fucking losing it during this. Yeah, they say goodbye, and then they show off the Welcome to Digimon World promo, since this was heavy Vital Bracelet, so that's how they finished it.
Always worth another watch.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is really good.
Yeah, and then card stuff. So set 4 is out at this point. They showed off. At this point, they're basically showing off the parallel cards, which they actually. I think all the prior times they kind of showed them off ahead of time and minus 1 or 2, so it was nice for them to remember to wait. I think. There's a lot of nice parallel cards, but I think the VIPs are the 3 Frontier ones that make the big image. Because where they make the panorama if you put all 3 cards in the right order. I like that one.
I love that. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice if they had a playmat of that.
Yeah.
They did do a playmat of booster set of Playmon, Agnemon, and of Ritramon, which everyone can print on their own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just last night they finally showed off the last scene vote card, which is the Agumon. The one thing I don't like about that image being chosen, how many times have we seen that exact shot used constantly?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I understand why it won. I don't remember if I voted at all, but it makes sense. But we've seen that shot so much.
The scene makes sense. The shot, I'm not so convinced works on.
You think it should have been? You should think it should have been the back.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think they decided against that on purpose to avoid having it look like a Tamer card.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What does the card do? What's the actual?
Yeah. If you have a Taichi card, you can return an Agumon to the bottom of the opponent's deck and then draw 3, and you can trash that person's evolution cards. And you can, a few people have said that that's usable. I don't know the exact and it costs nothing to use.
It's like, I'm going to play the Kazuna card because it lets me be a dick, just like Kazuna does.
Yeah. But yeah, here, I will paste the exact wording there, and you guys and you two can comment on if you think I got the explanation correct. It literally just says, trash him.
Trash. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the terminology.
No, yeah, it is.
That's how it works.
It's just funny to hear.
Fantastic that they have to use it that way.
Yeah.
That's cartoon. Yes.
But yeah, and we got a shocking amount of videos per week. We got 2 booster set 4 battles from Fun Digica. They showed off parallel cards. We got a second English episode of Fun Digica where they basically just showing how to play the game and have it narrated in English by, I always forget the person's name, Jason, I think was the name. Card Battle 11 did 2 booster set battles. See, the problem is that it was so fun having Kokolo thrown out in the prior one. Did you see the fancy amazing thing in this episode of Card Battle?
No.
They introduce Hideyoshi's disciple, and it appears he goes insane partway through the episode. And I just sent you the image of what happens when the camera turns back to him.
Oh my god! Wow.
What the fuck?
The camera turns back to him partway through the episode, and he's wearing a hat. He's wearing like a homemade out of duct tape and cardboard head that makes him look like Andromon, but it has like googly eyes. I will go ahead and paste that in the
works.
I'm pasting that in the that's in the YouTube chat for those following along video, because yeah, that's amazing that they did that. That
would also be like terrifying if you just turned around. It's like, what the hell is that?
Also, I'm super happy neither of you noticed that before I sent it.
I hope I run into that at a convention.
That made it so much better. That like you almost had a panic attack.
It's giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
That thing's just gonna like haunt your nightmares.
Yeah. So booster set 4 got unboxed on Digimon Classroom. It was actually neat to see them just go through a full box. And then the last bit of card game news was at DigiNavi we got to see we'll call it the post art for booster set 5, which is Omegamon and Omegamon Zwart D, and we get teases for a lot of characters in the background, like a lot. People, I'm trying to find, because people have just made lists of who they believe it is, who it looks to be. We have, let's see, Dark Knightmon, Dorbikmon, Troopmon, Algomon, Troopmon, Hexablaumon, Bancho Lilymon. I actually forgot the name Omega Shoutmon for a moment. But yeah, there's just
I see Cutemon in the back there.
Yeah, Cutemon's one of the more obvious ones, which is I kind of like that, just how obvious it is that it is Cutemon. Digimon you can see, which is just a lot of like really it's Eismon, not Shademon, I believe the one. It's hard to tell when you can only see like the tiny window, because you could easily see it.
Yeah, because it has the same exact
pattern
imagery right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, and they confirmed that they'll also have a normal Zwart. So at least 3 Omegamons and a bunch of very interesting choices, actually, to be honest. It's one of the nice things of the sets is the names don't define what the set's going to be. It just is the advertising copy, basically. So it was just, I thought it was nice to see, to be honest. And then one of the most beloved Tribe products is back, the Agumon PC Buddy.
Wasn't this what you said you were going to get me for Christmas?
I think we joked about it last week, didn't we?
I do recall 2 or 3 conversation.
Weeks ago. Yeah, I did, and I'm not fucking doing it. I like that they had to punk me by having it be re-released so it was actually orderable. Yeah. It ships in May. It is effectively the same as the Tri one, except they've redone the coloring of the keyboard, and they've redone the stitching, and also the entire eye design has been changed. But yeah, it's the same.
Very cute and cuddly.
The one
I like that the kid in the picture is wearing goggles.
Yeah. The one place they probably should have touched it up is some of the keyboard art that's been left as is that Tri digital motif that has only been used in Tri because it's just they've just changed the color.
Oh yeah.
Although they reprinted this a lot. They did the original, they re-released it at the same time as the Gabumon one, and then it showed up at limited base a few times. So people clearly want this thing. I don't know why the one picture everyone's been enthralled with is Agumon sitting in the chair with his arm on the armrest. But yeah,
he's talking to me during my therapy session.
Yeah.
Just casual.
This is the type of thing where if there was not intermediary fees, I could see a lot more people getting it. Because as it is, it's $55 plus fees, so that ends up being $80 or $90.
Yeah, that's a lot for this.
Yeah, like if it was, I could. See, the problem is I wouldn't use it. If it were $50 plus $10 shipping, Premium Bandai USA, I'd at least think about it before I said no. And then
it would go into the plush pile on my bed.
Yeah, and then we have the
burrow under
the product potpourri, the new pajamas, which I don't know why the art looks nice, but the gimmick feels, I don't know if it's brilliant or stupid, where it has patches on it that just use the lenticular material, so it changes the design based on how you look at it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that on a pajamas.
Yeah. And then
I don't like feeling the lenticular stuff. Wearing it's like
to be fair, AR, these will not fit
and
you.
It's not comfortable.
Yeah. To be fair, these will not fit you, AR, so you don't have to be concerned.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
And then
I wouldn't want them anyway, but
then a bunch of accessory products which popped up basically as we were finishing the show last week. So we have keychains of art that they used on something, I just don't remember what. Then we have the nice, cute SD keychains, which have mirrors on the back. This is the type of art we need more of.
Yeah, that art is. See, this is what I like to see.
Then the acrylic magnets.
I really want those.
Yeah.
Then we have the. See, I don't have one of these. The smartphone rings. I know plenty of people use them and like them though. So I imagine for $9 these will probably sell. Then clear files. Now, where's that shot of Greymon from? Is that from an episode or from the ending? I don't remember, to be honest. I think that's from an episode, isn't it?
I think it's like the first time he went to Metal Greymon.
No, sorry, Garurumon.
Oh, yeah, that's from the ending.
Okay, that's what I thought at first, but something about it looked slightly off to me, and I kept wafting. We have final release date for Imperial Dramon model kit, which is January 30th. See, the problem is I kind of want it, but it also looks so. I don't like the dragon mode. It really, that dragon mode really suffers so that they could say it does both.
Mm-hmm.
And then they announced the Christmas campaign, which they teased a few weeks ago. Even though all the prices are not super nice, I like that they're just doing 600 of them. Not going to go over them all, but oddly nice selection of stuff. And you can tell what one of them was supposed to be, and they clearly changed it because it wasn't ready, because I don't think they intended to give away 3 copies of Hacker's Memory. Most of the prizes will be 2 $5 gift cards for whatever the hell. I like that it uses the art and it's themed after the card game. To the point that at one point I was zooming in trying to figure out if they were actual cards. They are not. But I kind of hope we get promo cards with those designs because that actually works really well. So yeah, that's neat. None of us are going to do it, but still neat, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this was the surprise of the week. The Last Evolution Kizuna Meeting Cafe is opening on January 14th.
Oh yeah, Kizuna.
Because remember, part 2 of the cafe didn't happen at all.
Right.
And as far as I know, none of that stuff ever got sold. They've just had it somewhere. Waiting.
Just been hoarding onto it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what pops up here. I wouldn't be shocked if it's just both halves happening at once, because they closed the one. I feel bad for part 2 because they literally announced they were closing all all that kind of stuff like 2 hours after they announced everything that was going to be part of part 2.
They announced it and said, well, about that.
Yeah.
So pandemic.
Yeah. So we'll see. There'll be more details in January. We'll see what will pop up here. At the very least, people will be able to get a hold of the stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
And we will get to complain once again about the drinks.
For the 02 kids this time.
Yeah. Oh, and the Takaru one, which I believe was soup in a cup.
Oh yeah, he's still here.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
But yeah, so we'll see what pops up there. And then the last chunk of Digimonica happened. The day 4 was the 2021 adventure calendar. What's weird is this art feels like it's grown on me as I've seen it more. Like it's exactly what we talk about when we say we want more interesting art, and this isn't. I kind of like it though.
At the same time, calendars is that's something where you want it to be pretty on
show
point.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, you want that to be pretty close to the show. Like you want them to be interesting poses, but it's still you're not going to have any different art styles with a calendar.
The funny part is when Vandy first got this, I'm like, oh, are you gonna spin out the little spinny thing so you can scan it? She's like, no, these won't spin out like that. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like you could almost hear the voice of her going, damn, 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 now that the idea's in her head. So she did pull out the spinnies, and my understanding is there's no way to get them back in. So she sacrificed
just destroyed
the calendar.
Destroyed a calendar for the sake of science.
Yeah.
I mean, I destroyed a book, so.
Yeah. And then day 5 was the Kazuna soundtrack CD, which I had scanned. I just never had time to finish up the edits and everything. I still really like the cover to this one. It's oddly nice because you can place exactly where in the movie it is, even though it's original art.
Mm-hmm.
Day 6 was I'm trying to find what the actual
thing
term.
I did.
The trial pack. Yeah, you scanned it. I looked at it, and you were even like, well, you could always, you have it. Maybe you can do better scans. And I was like, It's like I pulled out the cards. And I'm like, I don't think I can do these better. It's good enough. And then.
Yeah, it's Digimonica.
Yeah, I will say though, I've seen other attempts at scanning these that went horribly, horribly wrong. So I wonder if the English ones are different material than the Japanese, or if that's just a happy accident that you knew what you were doing. Day 7 was the try set, which odd, like considering it's supposed to be like a cheap re-release. I actually like what they did with the booklet with all the art. Like it's a weird way to do something completely cheap and it still feels kind of nice. Where it just has art from all over all over the set in different ways. And
I like the discs.
Yeah, I like using the poster art on the discs. The discs are exactly the same. And I believe sales are exactly where me and AR guessed they were going to be when this first came out, and we were guesstimating what it would sell. I think we both said 300.
Mm-hmm.
And the exact number was 401.
There you go.
Yeah. And you can tell how happy they were with it because they're repeating it for the Blu-ray set next year. At some point, they have to do Savers, Crosswords, and Atmon. That's all that's left. Yeah. So at this point,
personally, I'm hoping for Crosswords, but
So
I think they have to do Savers before Crosswords.
Yeah, unless
they really do.
The only way I could have seen Crosswords come first was if they had done it this year for Crosswords Anniversary and do Savers next year for Savers. But
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So, and now we're at the weird point where in Japan, Try has been released on Blu-ray 3.5 times. because there's the theater release.
That half is really important.
The theater release has its own packaging and label and slightly different booklet. There's the initial release, which had, the Digipack with the nice art, the sleeve. The 0.5 is the normal version of it, which is the normal case, and they get rid of one of the booklets. And now this. They're getting a lot of use out of those discs, aren't they? Because they're the same discs for every single one. So, yeah. And then the last day, I said there was extra stuff in the Kazuna Blu-ray that hadn't gone up yet, and it's the thank you booklet with translations of everything thanks to Onke. Seeing the staff
The art was so adorable.
Yeah, just having different staff members do artwork in different ways. Some of them are great. Like the Imperial Dramon didn't get to show up in the movie, so here he is. And lots of different styles, and it's just neat. I like how the CG director actually did CG did CG pose renders. And am I wrong, or does that Omegamon not look like the model in the movie? Or it's like shaded differently or something? Because that doesn't look like Omegamon in the movie. I don't think I'm imagining that, am I?
I think it's just because of like the darker Copic bleeds.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it just felt a bit weird. V-Jump this month is kind of weird also, because if we had gotten this before news, this would have been like people going nuts. Instead, it's, hey, we've seen everything in V-Jump this month. It's the Vital Bracelet. It's the card game. I think the only thing new here is Huang Long Mon in Rear Eyes.
It's DigiNavi, the novelization.
But we don't get to see the wackiness of that, which worked oddly well. Like it was much more entertaining than DigiNavi normally is, I will say. I think that's because they also had less people show up, which I think might have helped with focus. Yeah, that's it for V-Jump, and then the art. We get the profile art first, and that's normal, and I don't think any of us have anything to say about it.
Yeah.
And then Kenji Watanabe went full cute this time. And I've seen a few
woodland creatures.
Yes, and I've seen a few people say it may be reference to a piece of art from Dragon Maid. I don't remember the full title of that show, but I don't know if that's just people trying to figure out if there's a reference or
it just looks generic and cute.
Yeah, yes. I'm like, I will say, dissect it too much. It's like stare into Lotmon's eyes and go, oh.
No. See, the VIP in this art is Budmon.
Little fang
Budmon is a hat.
Yeah, and Woodmon just sort of there looking,
staring into your soul.
Yeah, and then we got a bit more art. So first up, the English Facebook for the Digimon card game. For no real reason, they sort of just put up a completely clean version of the Omegamon Ultra S art from Booster Set 3, which, nice, large, clean, looked great. I think it looks better than it does on the card, to be honest. Like, getting to see it nice and clean like this feels much more striking.
Yeah, it doesn't get cluttered up by all the text and everything.
Yeah. And then, and this is where it's kind of fun, Tenya Yabuno puts up new artwork of V-Tamer and Adventure.
Aww.
Yeah, because
adorable.
Because Chapter 9 digitally was updated, and this is where it gets funny. He mentioned that he had actually been told it'd be the 23rd, but it had been updated, so he decided to throw that up. He put up a screen cap where he put a little like amazed effect to show that it's in the index also. He tells people no matter what store you have, go and check it because it might already be there. And then V-Tamer writer Hiroshi Izawa chimed in. He said he will say more later. They also told him the 23rd. And yeah. So basically it looks like he was not prepared to say anything at this point. So he just sort of went, go read it. And then his next tweet was like him being like very excited for Adventure that day. Because as far as I can tell, they both watch Adventure live whenever they can, which is a neat little touch. The V-Tamer art is both amazing and disappointing. Do you know why? I kind of want
not
these
high enough resolution to print out and hang up.
No, it's fine. It's that it doesn't like the chibi art kind of looks like the chibi art there, but it's more stylized. And with V-Tamer, you kind of want it to look like the manga. Although I do admit the Adventure 2020 Taichi with the Digivice and the smile is quite good.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to, it's a different style, a different pose. Yeah. It's all good. Like, you're mixing it up. You can mix it up with V-Tamer just as easily as you can mix it up with the reboot. It's all fine.
Yeah. As long as this is the type of art you would expect them to put on a can back.
Yeah. Really is.
Yeah. So in the chat, you guys figure out whatever questions you have, and we'll start with the ones that were sent. AR, why don't you do the first one since it's aimed at you?
Sure. So Laura's asking, so back when we discussed part 5 of Try, I allegedly said the scary story scene felt pointless when they're all locked at school and basically huddling for the night while things get heated up elsewhere around the world. And Mark said that the scene was necessary because, the constant action we were getting, that we needed a breather. And I think we're going back to, am I appreciating the need for breather scenes better now because the new series doesn't have them and we desperately need them? And that's not really what I meant when I said that was pointless, because one of the great things about the breather moments in Try is, and honestly most of the other series, is that they also serve to tell us a lot about the characters. Like, that's one of the underrated things about the bathhouse bits in part 2 of Try. We learned a lot about Mako and Daigo and Maki in those little interactions that we got there, even though it was mostly comedy. So the scary stories bit was just sort of pointless in the sense that we didn't really learn anything about any of the characters. So that's why I called that pointless.
Are you saying that not learning Yamato doesn't like scary stories is pointless, and that all the girls instantly went into a corner to do the shh about him?
Yeah, that was funny. Like, I liked getting that. Like, as far as being a breather moment, no, that's fine. It's good. I thought it was a little too structured and a little too abrupt a tone shift, but that's a little more fine pointing and that's a little more that's a little more pointed criticism than I think we're discussing here.
Yeah.
Like, no, it was definitely a time to lighten the mood a little bit. I would appreciated something a little more gradual, something a little more organic, and maybe something that got us a little more character information. Not that part 5 had a ton of character depth. Like, part 5 was a great, it moved Mako's story so much further, and it really set Taichi up for his finale. So, all that worked fine.
Now, I think I think if we break this down into what she really wanted to ask is, how much would you like that scene to show up in Adventure?
Oh, see, I'd like
it feels like that's kind of what she was getting at.
And that's what I mean. It's like something like that scene is absolutely necessary. That scene in particular is sort of it's sort of like, it feels like it's okay, we get it. You guys are demanding a breather scene. Here's your damn breather scene already. If they went with that scene exactly.
I think they went with that scene because Motonagi said he likes spending the money on the fights. And there's only so much money to go around, and that's a way to get more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then Laura followed that up with, do you think the show would work better if each of the arcs started off with nonsense? I think it doesn't need to be at the beginning. We just need something to occasionally let things slow down and to have characters interact. And
because
just punch.
Yeah, one of the things that I don't hate about this series is that the arcs are really flowing into each other naturally. Like, that's not a bad thing by any means, is that, you kind of immediately transition from one thing to another, and it's not, okay, you beat this one boss, full stop, next episode, goof off for a little bit, and then introduce the next scenario, which is what the original did. Like, that's the new series is way... It flows way better than that.
We just need a break occasionally.
Yeah, you just need to stop at some point. Maybe, resolve the whatever cliffhangers you have going on and get into, and have a little more fun and talk to each other and learn about these characters a little more before you resume the madness.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And I just noticed there was a question sent into the Curious Cat that was about the same topic. Am I giving the show too much credit, or is Hikari being kidnapped working to punish Taichi for his habit of recklessly charging into fights? He could have just flown away instead of fighting Volk-Doraemon, but the time he took to fight ended up giving Skull Knightmon time to wake up. That's a pretty standard storytelling thing, which is, oh, you did this, and then there's a fight, and then I don't even remember if they knew. Did they even know Skull Knightmon was around?
No,
they thought he was dead.
In fact, Yamato actually said that, Skull Knightmon is alive when.
Well,
Taichi
no. This is late because Volk-Doraemon was after they were separated, wasn't it? Or am I mixing up villains?
Oh no, Hikari was the only reason they beat Volk-Doraemon.
Right. No, Volk-Doraemon was after they were separated. You're thinking of
Oh no, they were all separated into, they were all but Taichi and Hikari were still together, I mean.
No, I know, but I'm saying I don't think they knew Skull Knightmon was anywhere around them. Earlier in the episode, they knew he was still alive because he popped up to fight and Angemon blasted them away.
Yeah, but I mean that Yamato's saying that Skull Knightmon was still alive after the Angemon fight, because
I don't even remember that coming up, to be honest.
No,
I'm pretty.
He did say that in this episode.
Okay, yeah, I did.
Yeah, so the kids were under the understanding that either Skull Knightmon was either somewhere else or just totally dead.
Yeah, they weren't sure what was up with Skull Knightmon.
Yeah,
I doubt they would have assumed he was dead. But
I don't blame the show for that one, because that's a pretty standard thing, and you can't have the characters go, well, we can't do anything because an enemy might show up eventually, and and that one was marked also, but yeah.
I mean, I could talk a lot of more. There does need to be some sort of, one of my frustrations with Taichi is that we don't really have a feel for what his weakness, what his character flaw is supposed to be. And if it is recklessly charging into battle after battle, then yes, he should be punished for it. That's not what they're doing here.
Yeah, that was just normal story character junk. We have no issue punching the show or giving the show credit, but that is just, at least as far as I'm concerned, kind of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was a question that when I saw, I went, that's the one that we need to bait people with, which I did. Could what happened with Cyberpunk happen with Digimon Survive?
Oh, good lord!
You mean getting pulled from the PlayStation Store because bricking entire systems?
What do you mean by what happened with Cyberpunk? Because a lot of things happened with Cyberpunk.
That wasn't clarified, so I thought we'd go over. Basically, I feel like the main one is that it's a clusterfuck.
But that's not even helpful, because Digimon Survive is a clusterfuck.
Well, no. So
the problem is it's a different kind.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if you're talking about what I believe it was could it come out and just fall apart? No, for one key reason. It's not an ambitious enough game that I would expect. If it comes out, I expect something. I don't expect that, because it's just not ambitious enough in what they're doing and what they're doing it like.
I mean,
here's the thing.
It's a tactical RPG with a visual novel packed on. It's not crazy fancy.
Here's the thing. Cyberpunk has real issues on every platform, but the real issues were PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lead. Basically, they're getting the game to run on the Switch. So the Switch may not be the lead console, but that's the baseline. It is generic. We don't need to worry about the weird model stuff, or my personal favorite from earlier, the person in the motorcycle jumping off the bridge, and the bike lands on
there are full
dirt.
montages on YouTube that people can enjoy.
But that's my favorite one. They go off the bike, they land there, and you're like, wow, that's almost impressive. And then all of a sudden, plants start to appear, and then the whole thing just fills with water instantly. The water had not loaded until the bike was sitting there, and they were driving around like it was normal. So yeah, here's the thing. There's many potential issues for us to talk about Digimon Survive now and in the future. And it not being that ambitious may be one of them, but I don't see that. There's not enough going on with Survive for it to like come out and just implode on impact.
Mm-hmm. And they already kind of pulled it back and saying, okay, this isn't working right. We're going to delay for a little bit while we sort these issues out.
They may have done that a few times.
Yeah, that may not, that's a whole issue in itself, but at least it says, okay, we're going to try to figure things out before we get to the point where we actually release it and it's a goddamn mess.
Yeah, and part of the issue with Cyberpunk is they were making it for next gen, but they were kind of refusing to cancel the old versions. Then there's the PC, which is an entirely different beast when you want to make its old push stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe a year ago, CD Projekt Red became a public company. So, going on stock markets and everything, which means you're answering to different people at that point. And I think it hit the point where they were not willing to delay the game long enough where this is good enough and we'll fix any small problems without realizing how bad things had gotten.
Like epilepsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think we all suspect there are more than issues with Digimon Survive, and we'll deal with that more later, but I don't expect this.
It's not going to be this.
Yeah.
This bad.
Yeah. I would expect it to be canceled before that happens. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a baiting way, like, oh, they're going to cancel the game. I expect it to come out and to be fine, to be honest.
Well, yeah, right. But I think what you're saying is that if they start playtesting Digimon Survive, it gets to the it gets to the make or break point. They get to the QA stage, and it is all of the mess that's happening with Cyberpunk is happening with the Digimon
It'll either
Survive.
be fixed
at
or
that
canceled.
Point, they'll just say, at that point, they might just throw up their hands.
Yeah, because it's not.
They won't release it.
Yeah,
in that state.
Yeah, I don't see. That's the thing. I don't even expect that to happen because it's just not crazy enough of a game that. Yeah, I think we've explained the answer and explained our reasoning well enough.
Yeah.
Have either of you heard of Paprium?
No, I don't think so.
Paprium is a similar story to Cyberpunk that's happening as we speak. It was a game being made to push the Sega Genesis. 2 years ago, they threw a launch party where the game was not only not ready, it was barely working.
For Sega Genesis?
Yes. Like, going hardcore to make, like, the greatest Sega Genesis beat-em-up ever. And last week, people started getting shipping notices. And then they updated the website. The game's done. It's shipping. We didn't charge enough for the game, so from now on, if you want it, it's $170. And you can, it gets dumber. And you can pre-order our next game, which we are announcing nothing about except that it is some type of beat 'em up for $170. And the game will be pre-order only. If you don't get it, you'll have to get it from eBay. And everyone just went, "Are you fucking psychotic?" And then people started getting the game. One of the best archivers of game technology is a YouTube channel called My Life in Gaming. They got their copy and it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't boot up at all. To the point that they were pulling out different Genesises in case theirs was incompatible because the game has specialized hardware. They cannot even get a logo to appear on the screen last I looked earlier today.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, so...
And that's being punished for their hubris because there's a lot of really, really fun...
And here's the thing.
There's a lot of really fun, like, retro beat-em-ups out right now.
And here's the thing. To be fair, it appears they just got a bad cartridge, and it's not that, but the hubris that's been involved in this... They literally had a launch party 2 years ago, and the clips from the launch party was the game running on one screen in the middle of a party with only one character, no enemies or anything, and it was a launch party. Yeah, so
yeah,
Digimon Survive, I expect is going to be fine, though.
Yeah.
So
eventually.
Yeah, when it eventually comes out, it'll be fine.
And Matias would like to know, do we think after Adventure 2020 we'll get another anime season that's adventure related? I think it's too early to comment, to be honest. Like, here's the thing. We can throw out guesses, but we can't say it's...
Well, they're asking what do we think?
I know.
And I think my answer would be, if there is another anime that immediately follows up Adventure 2020, like if they immediately go to another anime, it will be adventure related.
I would say it's a coin flip, because here's the thing. I could see them either doing a direct sequel or having some other idea for something. And whether it's completely adventure or not, because here's the thing. You could easily do Digimon VB connected to the Vital Bracelet, have it be a new kid who has Pulsemon, and then it's the same universe as the current adventure without it being directly related. And then later on, you get crossovers and blah, 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 blah.
I mean, that could be, but I think that's still, I would still count that as adventure related.
Oh, no, I would also, but I'm saying at this point, anything could be adventure related just by being adjacent to it.
I think that the message that they've been taking from the last few years is that if you want to do anime, it has to be adventure related.
Yeah. I think every product team has figured that out. Because even then, they're like...
Adventure just prints money.
Because here's the thing. Even during DigiNavi, they're like, the anime has its own product line that's going strong, so we can do whatever we want. We don't have to be beholden to it because the anime has all of its own stuff.
Yeah.
So because the Digivice is coming out, this does not have to be the Digivice. But also, the first thing they're releasing for it is Agumon and Gabumon with the anime branding.
Yeah.
So
all of the throwbacks to other Digimon seasons, all of the original stuff is going to be outside of the anime, if you ask me.
But yeah, so at this point it's easy because you can just have stuff bleed through. Like, the Pendulum Z has nothing to do with Cross Wars, but it has a lot of Cross Wars stuff in it.
Sure.
So yeah,
that's where you're gonna, and that's where Cross Wars fans are gonna get their stuff.
And eventually Blu-ray. It's the first thing that I want the Blu-ray just because it's the first thing that actually benefits from it. Then someone wants to know, what is the favorite Digimon thing you got or bought in 2020?
Ooh, probably the Old Force Vidramon statue.
You know, I was gonna give that as an answer, but it feels dishonest to give that as an answer for one reason. I've been so busy, it's still in the box, and I have not opened it yet.
Okay, I took it out of the box, well, of the protector box.
No, mine's still in that. It has not been opened at all.
And then I put it back in.
Yeah, mine's still in the shipping box. It's one of those things where I was in the middle of doing stuff when it showed up, so push to the side until I'm done. And when I was done, I forgot it was there, and now it's months later.
I need to do some renovating in my room and get a new bookcase so I can have it like front and center, just like an entire shrine to Digimon.
Yeah, so me and Dev both cheated by picking things that aren't out of the box at the moment. AR, what would you choose?
I mean, technically, my favorite Digimon thing would be my Blu-ray of Kazuna. It would technically be the Blu-ray of Kazuna.
That feels like a cheat, though.
That's definitely a cheat. Honestly, the fact that I was actually able to find the rubber strap of Maki from the Tri set before movie 4. Like, I actually found that.
That's not a bad one to pick.
I found that at a convention and was so happy to pick that up. And actually, Laura gave me money and I sent one to her too. That's how great a find that was.
That probably would have been the last convention you went to because of this year.
Yep, that was back in February.
Yeah.
Actually,
Same, because I got literally the same exact. Actually, I saw like one or two like Makis at the stand where I was getting my Kaiser and Metal Greymon.
Nice. Yeah. I was really happy to see those. Yeah, that was actually, I think, the only convention I went to this year, and I was staff.
You're one of the few who's made it to a convention this year, though.
Yep.
The plague hit literally right after.
I had a cold at that convention, and one of my friends was jokingly asking me if I had corona. That's how far back it was.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, it's just like it was just like, ha ha ha, do you have corona?
Yeah. So before we go to the next question, a rare time when I throw something in since it came up last week. Upscaling technology has changed, so I hope in Japan they will take advantage of the new upscaling technology. I'm sending you a link to a tweet. It's what I posted from the Discotech panel last week. Look at what upscaling can do now for quality.
Oh, I was hoping it was the link to the Kadocha box set because I'm really excited for that.
I'm excited for that too. But,
I love Kadocha.
But look what has been done to Eiko.
That is surprisingly. I mean, the actual picture is horrifying, but you know.
I mean, that's Seiko, but
yeah, you know what I mean. But yes, that is game changing. I'm super looking forward to seeing it because
it has two pictures. It has two.
Yeah.
Are we talking that is the joke that the left has Seiko in it and the right doesn't?
No.
Oh.
Look at the comparison shots.
No, I know the comparisons, but the fact that there's two pictures and the left one has two pictures with Seiko and the right one doesn't have Seiko in it.
Those were the comparison shots that were chosen to be used, and that's what
I know. But it also works
fine. Here's a clip. Eiko's in the clip.
Everyone hates Seiko. That's like the joke.
Yeah, but I'm legitimately shocked at. It's fucking magic. I'm really looking forward to seeing it be used on more stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it changes the game for a lot of anime if companies are willing to use it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you just said.
I
think Dev's just making noises now.
I'm very tired.
Yeah, let's see. The last question that was sent in ahead of time. Someone wants to know, you've talked about how Digimon now probably is overall safe, won't go away for years, blah, blah, blah. Any other things you want to come back that aren't Digimon? I came up with the stupidest answer because I kept trying to come up with something better, and
my answer is stupid too because I'm generally of like I like what I have. If they decide to bring it back and it's
mine's dumber.
If they decide to bring it back and it's good, then awesome. But I can appreciate the old stuff too. I was actually so during the election coverage, I was like CNN got me like I was reintroduced to Anderson Cooper, and I remember he hosted a reality series back in like 2000 called The Mole, and I think it'd be a really great time to bring that series back just because it's the idea of having a group of people who have to work as a team and one of them is a traitor, and I think with Among Us just owning everything right now, I think this would be such a great time to bring that back because it is Among Us, the reality show.
I'm trying to decide if your answer is worse than mine or not.
My answer's obviously better.
Okay, you go first, because mine's the dumbest.
Bubblegum Crisis.
Ooh.
That's not that dumb, because they've brought Bubblegum Crisis back before.
I'll say it's like mine's not the dumbest.
Oh, I thought you were saying yours was.
No, it's not dumb at all. They did bring it back a couple times, although I'm ashamed to admit I really didn't like 2040, which I hate to admit because I try to pretend to be such a Konaka nerd, but
I love 2040. It's like that's what got me into like the rest of the series.
Are you mentally prepared for mine?
We never are. Go for it.
I would like to see a new Super Off-Road. Nothing? Because, like, think about having it just the overhead view with the little cars and
Yeah,
having online play and stuff. Like, I think that'd be really fun. What were you saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's a question of how you attack that, like whether you go with like updated graphics or whether you kind of keep the retro look.
I would just do low resolution CGI. I think it would look great with the little cars.
Yeah.
Remake the old tracks. Someone has to have the I don't even know if he's alive or not. Someone has to have the license for Ivan Stewart. Have his face on the box again. Because I think at one point they tried to release it without having the license to his name anymore.
It worked for Punch-Out.
Did it though? Did it really?
No, I guess
Yeah,
not.
it really didn't. Although
it's not the
yeah,
not the same.
Yeah. Mr. Dream does not compare to Mike Tyson.
It's not the same. You get to the. I mean, that's the whole point of the original. Is you get to the end and get to punch Mike Tyson in the face.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you get the patterns right.
Yeah. But
if you're lucky.
Yeah. They tried doing new Super Off-Roads at points where they actually like made it like an actual racing game, and I saw it. I was like, I don't want to play this. I want it to be silly arcade bullshit. So
yeah. Keep it's basically keep the same game, maybe upgrade the graphics just a little bit and add online play. Yeah, that would be all you need to do.
Yeah, see that's the thing. You could do that. You could do that with 8 people, and that'd still be fun.
Oh my god, Super Off-Road with 8 people.
Yeah. Just imagine doing that game and having like what is the most number of players you think you could have in that game? 8? Could doing like large courses and have it be 20 work?
My mind's already blown with 8, to be honest. Like 4 is chaotic enough.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you can bring back the other games that are done like that, like Danny Sullivan.
I don't know that one.
Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat was basically the same game, except it was like F1 cars.
Oh, okay.
So more formal courses and stuff, but the same general game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can get that. I can get that.
But it feels so stupid to even think about. That's why I was like, mine's dumb.
It really is because
but it also works so well. It like I really could like you could do that game cheaply, easily, charge $15 for it, and people would eat it up.
My only experience with that with Super Off-Road is going to a friend's house for a sleepover, and that was the only time I've ever played that game. But that one sleepover, we played the hell out of that game. Like we played that game for like 4 hours.
Yeah. I think we're done for today. I think we've talked about Super Off-Road, Pac-Rim, and Cyberpunk enough.
That is a deep cut.
Yeah. So, AR, do you have anything exciting this week?
Probably not doing anything this week. I'm kind of chilling for the holidays, but I did post a new Nexus World chapter last week, so definitely check that out.
Okay.
Someone called it a tearjerker, which actually surprised me, but is legitimate.
Dev, what Wikimon article would you like people to read?
People should check out the homeostasis article because it might give some insight into Hikari just like fucking off and doing whatever the hell she feels like doing at any given moment.
My Christmas gift to Dev is I'm just moving on.
I was gonna suggest the Occult Hunter J, but there's really nothing in that just other than a picture. But it exists, and that's the important thing.
And I'm hoping for a slow week after last week. I can be found with the old Twitter, my own Twitter, blah 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 blah. Do we have anything else to say? Minus, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that jazz.
If you're in the store after closing, I'm going to hunt you for sport.
Okay, so
I feel like I really dated myself by making everyone hate Seiko jokes.
You really did.
I just realized that now.
It matches very well with my old man Pulver jokes.
Yeah.
So we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.